Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John. This report is for the 12th of July, and new highs, new day. That's the way it goes. The sell in May and go away. So if we go back to the beginning of June, and you follow June through July, sell in May and go away would have been, so sad. But that's a whole different topic. We've been in this, flattening point here with the shakeout. We kind of expected a little bit of weakness that came through there, but the histogram improved, as well as we saw the short-term buyers had reset. And just in time, at the beginning of July, boom, new money, and here we are, new highs, and we've had the increase in the histogram. However, the critical point here now is it's got to get past this peak point on the shakeout. Otherwise, you're going to be higher highs on lower readings, so that becomes a very critical one. And if I can get that histogram white to come up there, it reads 50 range, so we just have to see that that's exceeded the current one. Currently right now, 13. Let's see if I go down there. I don't think, 1316. But you can see it pops up in the highlight right here on the side. It's always helpful. So that's where we're at this point. You still have, a little bit of a flattening of steel, and cyan at 184 is just slightly above red now, but anytime you get at this 0 point, you kind of get, it's a little bit more difficult, where we just kind of get a continuation pattern of what's existing. Looking for the meeting of the azure and gold, because as soon as that rolls over, then you're going to look for a much deeper rollback. I think even if we put up to 50K, zoom it to the current, it liked it from way back here. This is the other Opus. If I put on the regular one that you guys have, it'll be slightly different. Key from my standpoint, particularly when we're looking at the 5K, and that is the effective nature of the coloring of the paint bar 2. It's been quite nice. So for the NASDAQ, it's actually doing the exact same thing that the S&P is doing, so we're finally convergent with those two markets. The Dow is actually been pushed ahead of them. From a euro standpoint, the currency wars are really going to start heating up, because now, you just had France actually, and then Britain followed, putting taxation on internet giants and that, Google. So U.S. was posing this, that they're going to end up paying more taxes in Europe than they actually pay in America and stuff, which is kind of laughable, the deductions that they're able to legally do, even despite the billions in profits, paying no tax at all and complaining that everybody else should be paying more. Needless to say, that's going to cause the Fed to want to pump the euro by, really saying that they're going to create this easing. But you hear the Fed talking about all this easing, but they haven't done anything. So they're just trying to quell the bond market in that way, which they did beautifully. We had that positive extreme that took place here as we were making higher highs on extremely lower shakeout. I mean, ever since we had the crossover on the shakeout throughout, all the way back over to here, it was slightly above the 15, but once it started to decay, it was just a matter of waiting for the cyan pops above, and that occurred, even before this magenta point right here. We knew that we were fading, so again, it's that beautiful ABM right between the 76 and 100, and from that 132 all the way down to 130 right now, and it's got plenty of room to fill back all the way to this breakout here at the 125 range, which is still through the roof. Oil still maintaining the high as long as tensions are going to be elevated in the Middle East. The fear factor is going to give it a little bit of elevation. Still, it's not bad. It's not anywhere near anything to complain about. Gold, is just in that transition here. We're actually beginning a new cycle higher for the shakeout. So this is going to be another power run. We didn't quite get the easing from an overbought status that you might have hoped for to see. Maybe the red DOC come all the way down and still maintain price. But so that's going to put a little more strain on the ability of it to spike from here. So here we go. From our 5K standpoint, we get these beautiful, I can even shrink this a little further. Beautiful little greens, comes up. Easy for us to see these DOC reds. The program initiation is looking for a decay in magenta, which sometimes comes a little bit later. So you're probably always going to see short signals come in before you actually get the magenta nod. But needless to say, in this particular case, another good one, we had the highs pop back up, but again, still produced it, came all the way down to the lows, tried to make another run of it later on in the day, and then we ended up all the way down to the 92, which was the previous day's range down at the bottoms. And then you just get these nice, clean setups here. So you have the muck that's going through with the shakeout. You finally get the crossover, breaking into the new zone from the negative 13. And that usually creates a little lift. It still took, 5, 6, 7 bars before it finally escalated, but then, boom, that's taken us into the new range. That should take us all the way into the 30-20 range. Would be a normal respite from that particular standpoint. All in all, good stuff. I mean, the ranges have been decent for both long, short plays intraday. I think the daily as well as 50K readings don't give us any. We should look at those 50K from a shakeout standpoint, and it's been making a new run. It also had cyan below 0 right before this most recent pop, so it's consistent with that positive extreme. So that will get revisited down at the 3,000 range, but gotta let the momentum do what momentum does, and no objection to that at all. As always, though, anything relevant, I will plop it on the Skype chat. Trade well.